Behind the glittering lights of Guns N' Roses, there was a calm rhythm guitarist who turned out to be the writer of many legendary songs. He is Izzy Stradlin, the creative brain behind Sweet Child of Mine and Patience. In this story, we will see the journey of a young man from Lafayette who dared to move to Los Angeles, conquered the rock world with Guns N' Roses, then walked away at the peak of fame. Izzy's life is not just about music. It also touches on his personal journey, love stories, wealth and collections, and even his unique hobbies, proving that the life of a rock star isn't always about the spotlight. Jeffrey Dean Isbell, known to the world as Izzy Stradlin, was born on April 8, 1962, in Lafayette, Indiana. He grew up in a modest family. His father worked as an engraver, while his mother was a telephone company employee. But his childhood was far from smooth. When he was only 8, his parents divorced. His mother then raised Izzy and his 2 siblings back in Lafayette, a small town that shaped much of his character. About his youth, Izzy once said, "It was a small town, not much to do. So we rode bikes, smoked weed, and got into trouble. Like Beavis and Butthead, really." That quote reflected the wild yet free spirit of his teenage years. Still, it was in that simple environment that he found his first love, music. At the age of 8, Izzy was fascinated by legendary acts like Bob Dylan, Pink Floyd, Alice Cooper, and Led Zeppelin. But the biggest influence came from his grandmother, who was a swing jazz drummer. Inspired by her, young Izzy begged his parents for a drum set. That was where it all began. By high school, music had consumed him. He formed a garage band with friends, including a young vocalist named William Bailey, who the world would later know as Axl Rose. They weren't athletes, they weren't popular kids, just long-haired stoners who spent their time playing music in garages. Though his grades were average, Izzy graduated in 1980, making him the only original Guns N' Roses member with a diploma. Shortly after, he took a leap and moved to Los Angeles to chase his dream. Arriving in Los Angeles in the early 1980s, the city of rock and roll, Izzy first joined punk bands like Naughty Women and the Atoms. He began as a drummer, but later switched to rhythm guitar to channel his songwriting ideas. In 1983, he reunited with Axl Rose and formed Hollywood Rose. The band didn't last long, but became a stepping stone for their creative bond. By March 1985, Guns N' Roses was born. The classic lineup included Axl Rose, Slash, Duff McKagan, Steven Adler, and Izzy Stradlin on rhythm guitar. They played in Sunset Strip clubs, writing songs that would soon become rock anthems. Izzy was the driving force behind tracks like Sweet Child of Mine, Paradise City, and Patience. In their 1987 debut album, Appetite for Destruction, it exploded worldwide, selling over 28 million copies, one of the best-selling debuts in history. Izzy, the quiet rhythm guitarist, was essential in shaping Guns N' Roses' identity. But success came with chaos. By 1991, Izzy had quit drugs and alcohol, while his bandmates still struggled with addiction. He grew frustrated with Axl's habit of showing up hours late for concerts, sometimes sparking riots like the infamous Riverport show. When he was offered a new contract cutting his royalties, Izzy felt disrespected. In an interview, he said, "Once I got sober, I started looking around and asking myself, is this it? I was tired. I had to leave." In November 1991, just months after Use Your Illusion 1 and 2 were released, Izzy shocked the music world by quitting Guns N' Roses at their peak. Back in Indiana, Izzy returned to writing music with a simpler, down-to-earth style. In 1992, he formed Izzy Stradlin and the Juju Hounds. Their debut album, released in October that year, received praise. Rolling Stone called it a debut full of bluesy energy and charm. Songs like Shuffle It All and Somebody Knockin' showed Izzy's more relaxed yet authentic side. The band toured across Europe, Australia, Japan, and America. In 1993, Izzy even briefly rejoined Guns N' Roses on stage, filling in for Gilby Clarke. Axl Rose dedicated Double Talk and Jive to Izzy at several shows. But true to his nature, Izzy soon stepped away again. After their Japan tour, the Juju Hounds quietly disbanded. In 1995, Izzy released 117, mixing hard rock, blues, and punk vibes. He kept his career low-key. No flashy videos, no massive tours, just music released for fans who cared. Over the years, he occasionally reunited with Guns N' Roses as a surprise guest, like in 1993, 2006, and other shows. Though he never officially rejoined, these appearances proved his lasting bond with the band. Away from the stage, Izzy's love life was as private. In 1995, he married Swedish scientist Annika Kreuter in Indiana. Their marriage lasted nearly 9 years before ending in divorce in 2001. Unlike the glamorous relationships of many rock stars, Izzy preferred simplicity and privacy. Later, in the mid-2000s, Izzy reportedly married a woman named Elena Isbell. Details are scarce, but many believe Elena brought him the peace and quiet life he always valued. For Izzy, love wasn't about public display. It was something sacred to protect. Izzy Stradlin's net worth is estimated at around $30 million, reflecting his major contributions to rock music. Most of this came from royalties of songs he co-wrote with Guns N' Roses, which still play on radio, stages, and digital platforms worldwide. International tours during the band's peak also brought massive earnings. But unlike many musicians, Izzy never flaunted his fortune with glamour or business ventures. Instead, he chose a simple, quiet lifestyle, valuing freedom over fame. Though private, Izzy owned luxury items that reflected his success. He once had a stunning house in Ojai Valley, California, over 2,600 square feet, with a gourmet kitchen, saltwater pool, wine cellar, and a 3-car garage. Among his prized possessions was a classic 1968 BMW. He also loved motorcycles, owning a 1988 Harley-Davidson, once even carrying thousands of dollars in a bag on a road trip. Beyond material things, Izzy found joy in unique hobbies. In Indiana, he built his own racing track using an old grader where he raced motorcycles and classic cars like the BMW 2002 and Alfa Romeo GTV. For Izzy, it wasn't about prestige, it was about fun, freedom, and keeping his rebellious spirit alive. From the world's biggest stages to his self-built racetrack, Izzy Stradlin proved that success isn't just about popularity, it's about the freedom to choose your own path. With a fortune of $30 million, classic cars and motorcycles, and a life lived far from Hollywood's spotlight, Izzy remains proof that the life of a rock star isn't always about the spotlight.